It's a pleasure to be here, but I must tell you that not only did I draw the short straw in filling in for Mike Harrington at the last minute, I drew the short straw with the panel on going first, but I am happy to be here. I am with the CB Richard Ellis office here in Manchester, but I've also worked in the Portsmouth office covering the seacoast. You may think that Portsmouth and Manchester are similar with regard to commercial real estate, but with the information we'll go over this morning, you'll see they really are two different markets. For clarification, we categorize these markets as I-93 Route 3, which is Concord to Salem and Manchester to Nashua. And on the seacoast, we categorize that as Rochester to Seabrook and west along 101 to Exeter. CB Richard Ellis spends a considerable amount of time and energy tracking the office industrial properties in these markets to provide useful data for both landlords and tenants. We've got copies of our newly printed 2009 market survey at the door, and I invite you to take a copy with you when you leave. This first slide is the historic office vacancies for these two markets. You'll see the dark green is the seacoast, the light green is I-93 Route 3. Now at first glance, the seacoast market looks like there's a dramatic increase in office vacancy. But once you dig deeper into the details, you'll see that while there's vacancy increasing in the numbers, there was 430,000 square feet of new office added to the seacoast market. If you've been through the Pease, Tradeport, or Dover areas over the past year, you may have seen several new office buildings under construction. And to put 430,000 square feet in perspective, the two largest office towers in downtown Manchester, City Hall Plaza at 900 Elm, Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm, have 450,000 square feet of office space combined. Another comparison would be the Elliott at River's Edge project that broke ground recently last fall at the old Jackpack site in Manchester. This project will include 503,000 square feet of new construction and should have steel coming out of the ground in 2010. If new construction was a story in the seacoast for 2008, the major story in the I-93 Route 3 were tenants relocating within the submarkets. Manchester saw over 100,000 square feet of Class A office tenants relocate to Bedford office buildings, including USI and Health Dialogue. So as a forecast for the office vacancy in 2009, we should see the I-93 Route 3 market increase slightly in vacancy as companies hit hard by the economic downturn require less space and more sublease space comes onto the market. The new construction in the seacoast should dwindle as projects are finished and these new spaces become harder to fill. This next slide is an overview of the industrial vacancy rates over the past 5 years in these markets. And as you would expect, the increases in the industrial vacancy was in both markets. The reason for this vacancy is largely due to poor demand for manufacturing space. But we still saw, however, significant activity in both markets along the medical, technology, and defense companies. Atrium Medical expanded by taking an additional 44,000 square feet in Hudson. Albany Engineered Composites leased 84,000 square feet in Rochester. And Access Technologies grew by 67,000 square feet, taking space in the newly repositioned Liberty Woods Technology Center in Nashua. Liberty Woods is an example of an older manufacturing facility adapting to the changes in domestic manufacturing. The 240,000 square foot building was previously 100% occupied by Amphenol, but is now being marketed to smaller firms wanting to take advantage of the building's technology infrastructure and campus-like setting. New Hampshire has a history of adapting well to changing business conditions, and the current recession will provide yet another opportunity for us to prove that. In addition to medical, technology, and defense, road construction and civil engineering firms may be a bright spot for 2009 if the stimulus package coming out of Washington contains a large allocation for infrastructure repair. At this point, you're probably wondering why our outlook appears to be relatively stable. It's nothing like the doom and gloom that you're seeing on the news. Well, this last slide will show you what the media is talking about. This is the total sales value for office, industrial, retail, hotel, and apartment properties in New England. As investor demand and leverage grew for commercial properties over the past 5 years, the credit markets eventually began to tighten. You can clearly see that all categories peaked in 2006, 2007, and virtually disappeared in 2008. This was the leading edge of the credit crunch that we're still dealing with today. So if you're an owner of a commercial real estate property and you need to sell, is there a market for your property? Well, the answer depends on the property. In general, the answer is yes. You'll need to be realistic on the sale price, but some business owners that currently lease space view this as an opportunity to buy, and banks are lending to qualified buyers and properties. So in closing, 2009 should be about getting back to the basics in how you view and value commercial real estate, either leased or owned. Be patient and allow the natural market conditions to work themselves out. And again, please take a copy of our 2009 market survey. It's designed to help you make informed real estate decisions for your business. I thank you and wish you the best for 2009.